Derek Overstreet, founder of the New Millennium Group. We're a financial planning firm. We have advisors standing by right now to take your call. 888-999-6370. The reason you're going to want to call is we're going to help you retire 3 to 5 years before you thought possible. The way we do this is by putting together a step-by-step plan. So if you're one of those people listening and you'd like a plan in writing, give us a call at 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370, or go to utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Some of the most meaningful jewelry you own isn't new. It's inherited. A ring from a grandmother, a necklace full of memories, but no longer your style. Duke's Jewelers reimagines family heirlooms into custom pieces you'll actually wear and love. Working one-on-one, Duke's designers honor the original story while creating something fresh and modern. Don't let meaningful jewelry sit unused. Let it live on beautifully. Visit Duke's Jewelers in Springville or online at dukesjewelers.com, where old stories become new treasures.
You're listening to Scotty G and Friends on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
All right, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Scott Gerard, Jake Hatch hanging out with us today. He is the designated friend of the program. And joining us now, one of our favorites. We always consider him a friend. I don't know if it's if it works both ways on his part, but the great Kurt Helin, NBC Sports, ProBasketballTalk.com, joins us. Kurt, how are you?
I'm doing good. You know, I'm glad somebody's there to prop you up for a day, Scotty.
I know, right?
Hold you
I
up.
know. Hey, look, sometimes it's a lot of heavy lifting, but Hatcher here is up for the challenge. Hey, all right, so is there any kind of urgency from the NBA or any concern from the NBA that anybody who plays Oklahoma City right now, the coach is losing their mind on the whistle that Shea's getting?
I'm sure that will come up, but, I'm not sure what they're going to do about it because everybody hates that guy when he's on the other team and loves him when he's on, Luka, frankly, going back to Jordan. A lot of these guys, you run into the body, you get the call, and at a certain point, it's part of it, and it'll go away a little in the playoffs. There's a little more contact allowed, but I'm not sure what the league's going to do about it. Certainly not in the short term. Again, in the playoffs, they'll let a little more go. But I'm curious if they adapt this, if there's any changes for how they just want to call standard drive plays next year, because they tried to change it a couple of years ago, remember? Mm-hmm. Where the defender was supposed to be able to kind of, stay in his lane and any contact that was initiated by the driver would not be a foul, but let's be polite and call that called inconsistently. It's not the way it always goes.
Well, you talk about points of emphasis, Kurt, and that's something the NBA is obviously every season they come out with this list hey, we're going to focus in on this and this and this, and it feels like they enforce it for the first month of the season, and then they get the stars whining about it, for lack of a better term, and all of a sudden things change. Do you think? And I look at example like Joel Embiid last night. He had a number of calls that a lot of people were calling out. Do you feel like is there a simple fix for that? Is it a culture thing, I guess, is the best question. Is it ingrained in the NBA culture?
I think a little bit. I think that what happens with those is they do call everything. Part of it is that the players kind of adapt. If you keep calling it, the players will adjust, right? And just like in any sport, any game. But then, man, they're trying to win, and they're going to push, hey, how much can I get away with here? Can I get back to this? Can I get back? And they start pushing it back, and it just kind of – all too often kind of gets back to closer to where it was or some version of that. So, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how they ultimately change that because it's always, man, we're going to get a lot of travel calls the first month of the season, but then the rest of the season, it's just not like that anymore.
So if you were to say this is the biggest threat to the integrity of the game, I don't think it's tanking, but of course that's what Adam Silver, went around. What, in your opinion, is the biggest threat to the integrity of the game?
The league's close relationship with gambling.
Ooh,
that would be higher on my list of concerns of things that could ultimately tamper with. I mean, we've obviously already had arrests and the Terry Rozier thing with prop bets and I don't see how that goes away. I mean, again, Rozier's making $26 million this year, and he's still allegedly involved in this kind of thing.
Yeah.
I see that being in a continued presence and prevalence, especially with the kind of betting that's out there, like baseball is dealt with, where, hey man, I can throw a ball on the third, the third pitch of this at bat and tip my buddies off that it's coming. Like, I don't know in basketball how the closer you get to them, I just don't know how you get away from that. I think it's going to be messy long term. I think the foul calling will become an issue again as the playoffs go on, because it always is. It is always a playoff issue, and especially with the Thunder likely to make look, they're the odds-on favorite to win it all. Shea is going to win another MVP, and this will all come up again.
All right, Kurt, you may have already just answered my next question, but we have a guy like J.J. Redick stumping for Luka Doncic to be NBA MVP, and then you have Shea last night. He said, I let my game do the talking, and we've had guys like Victor Wembanyama who've said, hey, my defense is what sets me apart. Just kind of handicap the NBA MVP race at this juncture. Yeah,
everybody will watch. If you're going to get your bets in now, I'm just telling you to get your bets in now, because Tim Bontemps' list comes out later this week at ESPN, and when the straw poll comes out, that will how should I say, define the market is the term I will go with. I would say, from my perspective, and I'm curious what others will say, but I am a voter, I have Shea a pretty clear lead. Like, I have Shea 1. Right now, I have Jokic still 2. The guy's averaging a triple-double. They're playing great basketball. I can make a case for Wembanyama second. I have him third, but I think you could go either way. I'll be honest with you, what holds me back on him is minutes played. He just, compared to, I looked it up this morning because I was down that rabbit hole. He's played more than 7 48-minute games less than Jokic this year. And that's a lot of minutes. That's just a lot, even though the games are close. So, and I have Doncic 4th, and he's going to – I would say Doncic is going to complain about that, but literally what doesn't Doncic complain about? So I'm not sure. But, like, the challenge really is that all 4 of them have had really good seasons and really impressive statistical and otherwise seasons, and you're kind of splitting hairs trying to divide them up. I think it's going to be those 4, and then with Cade out, I think that 5th spot's probably, I don't know, Jaylen Brown or Donovan Mitchell, probably. I don't think Ant's kind of slumping lately. Donovan's kind of come apart, which may give it to Jaylen Brown, but we'll see.
So, how do you feel like the transition for the Portland Trailblazers is going, and what's the NBA thoughts on where that's at right now?
They are excited to have an owner who wants to spend some money and try to do stuff like look, Paul Allen cared. Really cared, right? And they didn't always win up in Portland, but he's the kind of owner you want to have, right? He's engaged. He's involved. His sister, who ran it for the trust for years, she liked the prestige of being an owner. I'm not sure that it was necessarily good for the team. This guy has owned the Carolina Hurricanes, for people who don't know, and I want to say somebody and a couple other sports. He's very involved in pickleball, I've learned, but. The Carolina Hurricanes, look, I don't follow the NHL that closely, but I know that they picked up some banners recently. Like, that's been a good team for a while, and I think that there's some real optimism in Portland now that, hey man, they've got some interesting young players. They might pick up a couple more, and how can we start to really, Scoot hasn't quite panned out like they'd hoped, but there's a lot to like there about them kind of finding a direction and going that direction and turning that into something. And he got what he wanted, by the way. The state will be paying for major upgrades to that arena, which it kind of needs.
Yeah.
All right, Kurt, so bringing it closer to home, a lot of Utah Jazz fans are excited at the prospect of the Jazz being far more competitive next year when they have their full complement of roster players. Yes. That is the expectation. What we're seeing from Ace Bailey right now is he's being given a big opportunity to kind of just show what he's capable of as his rookie season comes to a close. What have you observed, and do you think that this is stuff that Jazz fans should buy into in terms of what he can project to the future here?
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA is heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports. I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
Every day, the world gets a little weirder and a lot more awesome. Cool Stuff Daily takes a look at everything from mining in space to the latest in the fight against cancer to how AI is, well, basically changing everything. It's all the cool stuff you didn't know you needed to know. Join us for Cool Stuff Daily as we take a quick look at science, tech, and the wait, what stories that make you sound way smarter at dinner. Subscribe to Cool Stuff Daily now, because the future's happening fast, and it's way too fun to miss.
I sold my car in Carvana last night.
Well, that's cool.
No, you don't understand. It went perfectly. Real offer, down to the penny. They're picking it up tomorrow. Nothing went wrong.
So, what's the problem?
That is the problem. Nothing in my life goes as smoothly. I'm waiting for the catch.
Maybe there's no catch.
That's exactly what a catch would want me to think.
Wow, you need to relax.
I need to knock on wood. Do we have wood? Is this table wood?
I think it's laminate.
Okay, yeah, that's good. That's close enough.
Car selling without a catch. Sell your car today on Carvana. Pickup fees may apply.
This is Mike Bolo of Lexicon Valley.
And I'm Bob Garfield. Are you one of those people who sometimes uses words?
Do you communicate or acquire information with, language?
Hey, us too. So join us on Lexicon Valley to chew over the history, culture, and many mysteries of English, plus some wisecracks.
Find us on one of those apps where people listen to podcasts.
You should absolutely be buying in. I don't know that he's going to be able to put up. Look, March numbers can get.
Yeah.
March basketball gets a little weird, as I know you guys were talking about before. Look, even those of us who do this for a living get to some points with the Jazz and the Kings and the Wizards at this point in the season. And if you tried to play who's he play for with me, I'd be like, yeah, I don't know. I like to mock Charles Barkley when he fails that early in the season, and then we get to this point in the year, I'm like, yeah, I got no idea. But I think next year you're going to see a Jazz team. I think what Ace Bailey is doing is real, and he can absolutely – look, man, it looks to me like not only is he attacking and just seems more comfortable, but the game's slowed down for him. He kind of knows where he's supposed to fit, what his role is going to be. And he'll have to adjust that next year when – look, Lowry's going to get a bunch of touches, right? And touches are going to go other places. But if he can fill that role on the wing, he can absolutely be with George can be part of and some other guys be part of what's being built long term here. I mean, JJJ isn't that old. Like this is a pretty young team that can be pretty impressive, like as pretty quickly next year.
I think we talked a little bit about this last week. Look, my weeks are running together now, so I apologize. But
you and me both.
Yeah, I was calling that Utah State game against Arizona, and the Kansas game was right before us. And I was sitting courtside, and I made sure to get to it early because I wanted to really say I really wanted to. Figure out if I could see the body language of Darren Peterson.
Yeah.
And it wasn't good. Now, the skill set's through the roof, there's no doubt. And I don't think he's healthy, but you could see, like, the side-eye to teammates every now and then. And maybe this isn't fair just because I'm looking at it from a standpoint of just one singular game. But I could see why an NBA GM would be a bit hesitant there.
Yeah, I think in a lot of minds right now, he's like AJ's passed him on most boards. Again, it will come down a little bit to who wins the lottery, but because there's some eye of the beholder stuff there. But there's some concern about, look, he's had a couple health issues. People really want to see the medicals. They want to talk to him. They want to see if this season was just kind of a one-off or not. I think part of the issue, honestly. I watched him. I didn't get to watch him a lot before this. I watched him some of the tournament. Why is Bill Self playing him off the ball? Or was playing him off the ball? Dude, if you have a really good player, you put, especially at the college level and below, you put the ball in his hands a lot, right? So there was some maybe part of that. Seemed to be a lot of things going into it. I also get the sense a lot of teams are willing to look past it, are willing to just say, hey, you know what? I think I think he's that good. I think we're going to be fine. Let's let's take him high because, like you said, the skill set, the size, the athleticism, it's unbelievable. What he showed in high school was unbelievable, and he just hasn't looked as explosive this year. And as long as the medicals don't show that that's something long-term, then I think teams will buy in. My guess is he still goes. Honestly, my guess is he still goes second.
Yeah.
And Boozer goes third, and Wilson probably fourth. And then everybody will think Acuff dropped too far. So
yeah, exactly. All right, so our good friend Tony Jones, who was in this market for a long time.
Tony.
Tony is the best, but Tony is prone to make.
I would say Tony's the best, but I wouldn't say that to his face because I don't.
Oh yeah, no,
that's a bad idea.
That head's getting big enough already. So
yeah, exactly.
But Tony is prone to making big, bold statements, and a lot of times he forgets that he makes them a year or two later when you try to call him on it. But he came on the show last week, and was it earlier this week? I can't remember.
It was last week.
Yeah. And he dropped this bomb, and I want you to hear it and give me your thoughts.
You ready for me to get wild on here?
Well, let's go.
I'm going to get
Let's
wild on this show.
Let's do it.
If the Utah Jazz get A.J. DeBancer, they're winning an NBA championship within 3 years.
So, if the Jazz get A.J. DeBancer, given their current roster as is, the Jazz will not make the playoffs, not be in a Western Conference Finals, not even be in an NBA Finals, Kurt. They will win the whole darn thing in 3 years or less.
Yeah, that's pretty bold. I don't think the thing is I don't think it's outlandishly crazy. It's not I'm trying to think. I was about to say it's not Loch Ness Monster, except like everybody believes in the Loch Ness Monster, so that's like not going to work. But it's not like if everything clicks, if they get the Bonsa, put him on the wing, and you've got Kennedy George, you've got obviously Markkanen and JJ, like that whole thing, suddenly that looks like a really good team. You've got a really good coach. You got a really strong organization. And suddenly that thing comes together in a couple of years and looks really good. They could, how about it this way? I would say that they could be in the mix for that. It's hard for me to say, man, they'd win it because there's this 7'5" guy in San Antonio that's going to have a lot to say over the next few years about who wins. Like, it's just winning it takes – Oklahoma City's still going to be good. Boston's not good. Like, it just takes a lot of things to go right to win a championship. But I'm with him on the sentiment that, like, within 3 years, they could absolutely be contenders. They could absolutely be in the mix for this thing. I can see that happening. I'm not as bold as Tony, but I am a better three-point shooter. So.
Oh, wow. I will say that. And the thing with Tony is he's the best basketball player that nobody's actually ever seen play. And so he started playing in the media run. Like if you go to All-Star Weekend or during the finals, there's media runs. And I just haven't, from health reasons, just knee issues, just haven't done it for a while. And he started jumping in. So, I really never got to see him play. I'm kind of bummed about that. Yeah, because he is the best basketball player nobody's actually ever seen. All right.
Yeah. He's quite confident in his skill set.
Oh, yeah. And he loves to fight on Twitter. So that's always fun.
Yes,
we always enjoy that. Hey, Kurt, you're the best, man. Thanks for joining us, and we look forward to catching up with you again here very soon.
Take care, Scotty. Take care, guys. Bye.
You got it. Kurt Helin, NBC Sports and ProBasketballTalk.com. All right. Coming up next, we continue to, tell you what, quick segment coming up next because, Jake, Bill Armstrong.
GMBA?
That's the man. Hey, by the way, I saw his doppelganger today.
You saw Clark Kent?
No, the new coach at Ben Jacobson.
Oh, that's true. That's a good point, yeah.
Ben Jacobson and Bill Armstrong could be brothers. Boy, that jaw that could just cut glass.
True.
Yeah. So we will hear from him coming up right at 2 o'clock, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
The Bleacher Report app is your destination for sports. Right now, the NBA is heating up, March Madness is here, and MLB is almost back. Every day there's a new headline, a new highlight, a new moment you've got to see for yourself. That's why I stay locked in with the Bleacher Report app. For me, it's about staying connected to my sports, I can follow the teams I care about, get real-time scores, breaking news, and highlights all in one place. Download the Bleacher Report app today so you never miss a moment.
Make game day yours. Tickets, food and drinks, stats, and streaming. Everything you need is in the Utah Mammoth app. Download today and make game night easy. Download on both Android and iPhone. Tusk Top.